Next on the news, it's been a special chapel in the Diocese of Brooklyn for decades.
After months of restoration, Immaculate Conception Center's chapel in Douglaston is getting a new face, and we got a first-hand look. I'm Katie Vasquez, and I'll have that story coming up.
Catholics around the world are waiting to see Notre Dame open its doors again this weekend, and thousands of miles away, churches across the U.S. are preparing to celebrate with Our Lady of Paris. The Vatican bringing attention back to the reason for the season. What will be the theme of the Nativity in St. Peter's Square this year? Plus, he's fulfilling his lifelong dream, how this Catholic author brought his faith into his work of fiction. I'm Christine Persichetti. Currents News starts right now. An iconic spot in the Diocese of Brooklyn is now all spruced up. The Immaculate Conception Center's chapel has been the space for plenty of diocesan celebrations and the place of prayer for men starting their journey to the priesthood at the Douglaston Seminary. But now, after months of work, the decades-old area of worship has been made new. Currents News' Katie Vasquez gives us a sneak peek.
This sacred space hasn't been touched by a paintbrush since 1998, but now the chapel inside Immaculate Conception Center in Douglaston, Queens, has received a facelift, the new look only highlighting its divine purpose. Brooklyn Bishop Robert Brennan celebrated Mass at the newly renovated chapel on Wednesday, blessing the space that has housed diocesan celebrations for decades, while also providing a place of prayer for men studying the priesthood. During the 4 months that the chapel was under renovation, senior priests and residents at the Immaculate Conception Center, like Monsignor Edward Duran, had to celebrate Mass in the bishop's chapel below. Some of the work D'Ambrosio Ecclesiastical Art Studio did that they have been waiting for includes painting around the Stations of the Cross to make them pop against the white background and adding symbols that pay homage to the Blessed Mother. However, the change priests say will make the biggest difference is bringing the tabernacle into the chapel. Before, there was a separate area that priests had to go to in order to access the Blessed Sacrament. The move reinforces the main reason people of faith enter the sacred space.
It's nice to be home. For the last couple of weeks, we've been able to get inside and to pray, but to have the Blessed Sacrament here now, to have celebrated Mass, it's a great gift. And it reminds us of what a great gift this whole center is, and this chapel in particular.
Having a prestigious place like this, where priests have history here, formative years, formation, it means a lot to them, so it means a lot to us to be given that responsibility and that trust to really beautify the place.
Obviously, always been a place of worship, but now every element of it sings out, worship the Lord, worship Jesus. What a beautiful setting, and tremendously uplifting for the senior priests. I pray here every day for the active priests, for the Diocese of Brooklyn, for our many, many parishioners, and those who do not know us yet, that through our prayers and through our worship, they may come to become one with Jesus.
During this Jubilee year, Bishop Brennan says, as we make all things new again, we celebrate what's been and look forward with hope and joy to what lies ahead. In Douglaston, Katie Vasquez, Currents News.
Churches in the U.S. are joining the countdown to the reopening of Notre Dame. Bishops across the country are calling on parishes to show their solidarity to the church's eldest daughter by pealing their bells at the time when the cathedral plans to open its doors. Already, the Basilica of the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception in D.C. has voted to take part in the gesture of unity. Those who also wish to do so can ring their bells this Saturday, December 7th at 2 p.m. Showing support from the U.S. in Paris will be President-elect Donald Trump. Trump announcing on his Truth Social that he will be attending the reopening celebration at the cathedral. This will be his first foreign trip since winning the election. He was in office when the cathedral originally caught fire back in 2019. Currents News is also counting down to the reopening of Notre Dame, looking back at that horrific fire and the 5 years of reconstruction efforts. We will go through it all. That'll be this Thursday, December 5th, right here on Currents News. Pope Francis remembering Christians in the Far East Wednesday as his greeting and summary were translated into Mandarin Chinese at his general audience.
与我们联系在一起的华人致以诚挚的问候。
This brings the total number of languages the Pope's words are translated into to 8. These include English, Spanish, Polish, French, German, Portuguese, and Arabic. This week, the Holy Father spoke about evangelization, once again reminding preachers to keep their homilies short. Meantime, the Vatican is preparing for the holiday season, and we're getting a sneak peek at its most important Christmas decoration. This year's nativity scene comes from Grotto, a historic seaside town near Venice. The depiction of the birth of Christ is handmade and resembles a version of the town's creche that was crafted by 40 volunteers. The mayor of Grotto explains how the Holy See nativity will also reflect their community.
Ours
is a somewhat particular nativity scene. It is a reflection of our island reality. We tried to reconstruct what will be a small island in our lagoon, with a typical construction that we call cassone here. It is a hut made of mud, bricks, straw. Inside it will be the representation of the nativity.
Also featured in the Nativity, the 3 wise men arriving to the birth of Jesus on boats. The Nativity, along with the Vatican's tree, will be unveiled on December 7th. And a year-long sight for the Holy See, Michelangelo's Pietà is now back in view. For the past 6 months, workers have been replacing the glass protection of the statue of Mary holding the dead body of Jesus to give pilgrims of the 2025 Jubilee a better view of the icon. The new protection is made of 9 shatterproof and bulletproof panes, which also enhances the security of the Pietà. Finally tonight, a faithful parishioner has fulfilled a lifelong dream. Philip LaPalmer is now a published author. His murder mystery novel, taking inspiration from his own life and his strong faith. Current News' Katie Vasquez has his story from Windsor Terrace.
Now we're going to be making 60 bags, so...
Every week, you can find Philip LaPalmer here at the food pantry at Holy Name of Jesus Church in Windsor Terrace.
Sounds good.
Committing one of the corporal acts of mercy.
To recognize that people have legitimate different needs and to try to understand what it is that would really help them.
During the pandemic, the retired actuary,
He's a mathematician who works for an insurance company. That's the easy answer.
decided to pursue a lifelong goal of his, becoming a published author.
And his wife are talking about a novel that Mark Twain wrote.
A feat he chased hundreds of times with little success.
Never anything. Nope. Total rejection.
Philip's book, called Unwavering Love, is a murder mystery set in 1970 Chicago, where he grew up.
That allows me to write with absolute confidence about that phase of this detective.
It's a work of fiction, but it's based on aspects of his own life, including his faith.
God's love is unconditional or unwavering, but people in marriage reflect unwavering love.
And now, at almost 83 years old, he hopes his book encourages others to never give up.
I would say you never give up on a dream. If you have a dream, you have to keep pursuing it.
In Windsor Terrace, Katie Vasquez, Current News.
Love it. Keep chasing those dreams. If you'd like to pick up a copy of Philip's book, you can buy it off Amazon. Just search Unwavering Love by Philip LaPalmer. That is this Current News Update. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us, because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time.